Good morning, collective. Thank you so much for joining in. This is a virtual law sponsored webinar. I'm going to be sharing with you a really cool tool I found recently. For those that don't know me, my name is Christian Frank. I'm an attorney. I've been an attorney now for 20 years. I handle primarily investment immigration in the United States. And I stumbled upon a company that reached out to me requesting additional information about my practice. And I saw that they had an awesome tool. The awesome tool is called Fetcher. And I've been using it now for the last couple of months. And I think this tool is so awesome that I wanted to share it with everyone. It definitely takes care of one of the biggest issues I face in my legal practice. I also have an automation consultancy. I help law firms automate their legal practices from intake to document generation, completing applications, mostly online through document generation and lead management as well. And one of the biggest issues my practice has ever faced is requesting documents from clients. And I have used many solutions in the last 20 years through thousands of clients and thousands of document requests. I started out practicing, I'm originally from Puerto Rico. I started practicing family law in Puerto Rico and then branched out into a virtual practice, but it was an inverse virtual practice because I was practicing remotely, attending clients that were stateside from Puerto Rico. So I was in Puerto Rico and clients would reach out to me in Puerto Rico asking for legal representation on the island. So requesting documents remotely. Back then, it used to be a fax. There were emails, but PDFs hadn't taken hold yet. There were no e-signatures yet. So signing documents required a lot of back and forth. Then by 2016, I branched out. I relocated to Colorado, started a removable defense immigration practice there, and requesting documents and evidence was equally hard. So I needed to find a way to systematically request documents in an easy way for clients that didn't have Google accounts or didn't have, the technical know-how to scan documents, compile documents, and upload those. I needed to find a good solution. I tried all sorts of dashboards and document portals and nothing worked out. I finally started using Pipefile for a while. Pipefile was pretty cool. I really liked the company and I used Pipefile for a few years, but the user interface was a bit clunky and it was much more complicated than I needed. So I reverted back to sharing Dropbox folders, but Dropbox is a shared application. They're not too secure. They had a few security breaches and I stopped using that. Then I started using Google Drive, but space was limited. So I shared if you have Google Drive, but your client doesn't have a Google login, it's the same kind of issue. They need to create a Google login. I know a lot of people have Gmails, but some of my clients didn't. I was representing detained individuals. So I was requesting documents from several family members, and sometimes they had Google accounts, sometimes they didn't. Sometimes they knew how to work with a computer, sometimes they didn't. Sometimes the only access they had because they were at the border was a cell phone, and sometimes it was someone else's cell phone. So it became increasingly cumbersome to request documents in an easy manner. And I stopped doing removal defense altogether after a while because it became so difficult to compile evidence to be able to adequately defend clients. So after a few years, I relocated my practice abroad. I moved out of the United States. I started representing clients in the US, and I still needed documents remotely. And this company called Fetcher reached out, and they had a easy to manage document request. So it's not only the document request, you create a profile, you create a document request, you can create templates that you can reuse over and over. And the cool part is that they send out email reminders and text message reminders, depending on what's scheduled, once a day, every 3 days, every 2 days, every 7 days, once a month, once a year. If you have recurring document requirements, then you can set these up for not to expire. So if your state requires a yearly corporate report or any sort of yearly document compliance filing, then you can set this up once and it'll request it on the yearly reminder forever. So this is pretty cool. And I wanted to share with everyone what I was doing with it and how it worked, and the fact that they're offering 60 days free. They're currently expanding their service, and they reached out to me not only for business setup and for immigration visas, but they also reached out for a little help with development. So I've been helping them and testing the system out. And because I'm also a automation developer, and I thought company has really good ideas, and I wanted to share this with all of my viewers. Let's start screen sharing here. This is their website. It's called getventure.app. That's the URL. It more or less explains what they do. They have 60 days free right now. Regularly, it's only 14 days, and then you can choose a subscription plan. But they have an ongoing test, I believe, for the next couple of months for offering 60 days free with their full suite of services. And I'll get into all the different features it has. You can set up all sorts of reminders. Clients get an email with your own branded link. If you're a user, you get a link, and then your client clicks on the upload link, and it lets you review the request. Once the client submits, you can limit the file types. And once you approve it, the client gets a notification that's been approved. If you reject it, they get a notification that they need to upload the document again. If they upload the correct document, then you can approve it as well. And once the request has been completed, clients get a notification that my firm has received all the documents, and this can be resent over and over depending on the amount of parties involved. This is awesome for evidence discovery. You can send this to opposite counsel as well. If you have evidence discovery ongoing, then you can request for these documents and then categorize them. They'll create a nifty link that you can share and a zipped file. And you can send these reminders over and over. So then you have proof. For example, if you need to prove to the court that you did send this evidence discovery request and it was answered or it wasn't answered or wasn't complied with for a pretrial conference, then you have evidence of sending these requests over and over, and opposite parties compliance. You can create pre-built templates. You can create reminder sequences. It has a feature where you can translate the request from English to Spanish. I asked if any other languages were going to be included, and they said yes, but I don't know which ones yet. Hopefully they'll branch out into different languages or have a translation tab. That would be awesome, but it's pretty easy to use. And the reminder sequences, you can custom tailor in any language and freeze them out as you want. It works out of the box, but you can customize it as good as you want. All these documents are securely shared. Everything is encrypted, both in transit and at rest. So you can also create your own encryption key. I'll get into details about that, but you can all the documents that have been uploaded to their cloud, so no one has access to them except for yourself. But if you lose the key, you lose all your documents. So there is no recovery of that. You need to take account into that. And you can brand your upload dashboard, and you can brand the emails as much as you want with the logo and your company's branding. This works for law firms. It works for accounting firms. It works for real estate. It works for mortgage brokers. It works for any sort of practice that requires documents. And you don't send these documents through email attachment. All this is done through a secure portal. And right now their pricing is these are their 3 packages. Each one has a different amount of active requests, an unlimited amount of email reminders. From the Pro tier on, it has text reminders as well. And you can have different users with different levels of access. So there could be an administrator, such as the main attorney. If you have support staff, you can determine who has access as a document reviewer or paralegal. On the Pro tier, you have up to 5 team members. On the team tier, you have up to 15 team members. And if you select yearly billing, you get 2 months off. So if you sign up now, you get 2 months free. It's 60 days free. And if you sign up for a yearly plan, you get 2 more months. So you're essentially getting a full year and 4 months as well. So you get 20 months if you sign up during the introductory period. No credit card required. You can cancel anytime. All these are ongoing. And if you upgrade from the monthly to the yearly, like I did, you get prorated billing. So that was pretty cool. And I'll show you how it works. If you go to the dashboard, click on the dashboard. Right now, I have a free trial. For illustration purposes, I have a pending request here, and you can create a new request. I'm going to create a request so you can see how it works. I have the John Smith file, lawsuit, divorce. I have a small message to the client. Please upload in clear scanned PDFs, ask email, for more info. I have a due date and then a link expiration date. Let's suppose the due date is when the reminders end. So I'll set these out a week out, and you can have the link expire. So after a certain period, you can have the link not expire, but the reminders do expire. So if the request remains active, it'll remain active until the link expires. You can choose language in English or Spanish. Let's choose English for now. And then I can start manually creating the documents requested. I have a birth certificate for child, please. And then additional instructions, upload the birth certificate. And then I can choose if it's an image, photo or scan, PDF, a document, and that'll specify if it's PDF or Word document or a spreadsheet. And if the client tries to upload anything that's not the file type that you specify, and it won't allow it, you add documents, marriage certificate. Suppose the client was married more than once, Custer County. And then you continue adding documents as you go along or delete those. Here you have client's name. I just saw that I misspelled Smith over here. All this is modifiable. You can send this to John's email, and then you can add a phone number, and then you can choose email reminders on email only, text only, or email and text. You can choose the frequency of the reminders. Let's suppose every 7 days, every 3 days, or every day, because this is urgent. And if you have any questions, you can always ask in a chat here for help. This is a support chat. I'll interact with the support chat. And once you click send, it'll send a request. Once you create the request, it'll add it to the request tab over here. Give it a second for it to crunch. And right now, the request is pending. You can set, this is the private link the client receives. Let me show you how that looks. And this is what John Smith receives. Please upload and clear scan. These are my instructions within the email for additional info. This is the amount of documents. And as the client uploads these documents, they can tap here. And if it's on mobile, they can scan with the camera and it'll create the PDF automatically. And once they upload these documents, your dashboard says when they uploaded these documents. Let's go ahead and document just a second here. Document uploaded. Now the client says it appears under review. And if you refresh here, you can approve or decline this document. You can check the document out. You can review the document, or you can approve or decline it. Let's decline it because it wasn't a birth certificate. You can put a reason here, unclear, scan, wrong document, and then decline the request. The client will receive the notification that the document was denied, and they'll continue to get reminders to upload it. Client receives a notification through email, and this needs a fix. Unclear, scan, wrong document, and the client uploads it again as many times as necessary. You can also create templates. Let's suppose you need a template, a recurring template for the same type case file. This is an immigration spouse petition I-130, and you can add these documents. There's a default message and create a document request like I showed you just now, but you can generate these templates with AI, which is even faster. So you generate with AI, marriage-based green card, click here. And if you click generate checklist, you can choose the language of the template and generate checklist, and it'll pre-populate the document request. You can also create your own list and modify it with AI. And all this information is secure. No documents are shared here with AI, just it'll simply request these documents with instructions. And once you save the template with those, you can begin a new request with these immediately, and all the documents requested necessary have already been pre-populated. Birth certificate, passport, marriage certificate, divorce decrees if applicable, police clearance, and you can see that these have already been added, and you can add more depending on your practice or on your case type. You can refine these. And as you saw earlier, there's already a template here, so you can recycle this template to as many clients as you want. This speeds up the process exponentially. This is a game changer for us because I send out multiple requests very frequently. The amount of time I spend requesting specific documents for every case has been cut down a lot, and I can generate an unlimited amount of those requests. You can specify the reminder sequences. There's a default sequence of reminders, but you can create specific sequences for specific documents and use these. You can specify the name of the sequence. Let's suppose you have a particular sequence for mortgage closings, or you have a specific sequence for real estate transfers. Then you can create customized reminder sequences that will pre-populate the client's name, first name, business name, the title of the request, the link for the client, and you can create an email, a customized email, depending on case file or if this is being sent to opposite counsel, you can specify opposite request information and the custom tailor that. Or for clients or for colleagues, you can send all sort of document request reminders as well. And then if you click reports, you have a report. This is a dashboard where it says how many requests have been created, how many have been completed in this period, the completion rate, and you'll have all sorts of KPIs. You can export these in CSV, comma separated values, or a PDF report, and you can check these out to see if clients are completing their requests, how many active requests, the text messages sent, and how many team members you have on this one account. I don't have any, so I haven't shared it, but you can. You can invite team members to specify the access to their invitations. So all this can be shared with a team member, and then you can check out your account, password, change your email. You can change your branding, your brand colors. You can specify a from name and specify who gets notified of what. And this is the address where people upload. This is your customized link. You can specify what it says here and brand your portal. You can add your logo as well. I haven't branded this too well yet. And then you can manage your billing. See, I have 57 days to go in my trial. I created this account for the demo purposes. And you can choose monthly or billing. You click on that and it takes you to the billing if you want. Like I said, if you choose yearly billing, it's just times 10. So you get 2 months off as well over here. Yeah, and it works pretty well. There are a bunch of other features in the pipeline as well. The development team told me they're expanding a few things, which is pretty cool. White branding entirely. You can choose to run this as your own personal portal. So Fetcher is not involved as well. They have also a security package, which means zero knowledge. So they have no access. You can choose your own upload container space, which is pretty cool. And all that is pretty advanced. I'll be trying those. And once I give those a try, you can check. I'll be sharing these on a regular basis through these webinars. So yeah, once you accept, you can send a reminder individually. Let's suppose you click send a reminder. So the client gets another manual reminder if the reminders expire. And if they upload everything or this expires and you don't want any of the documents uploaded, you can accept the request to accept all the documents in one shot, or you can decline the request by declining the request. So let me decline here because that was an example. If you decline, the client is not notified. If you accept the request, the client is notified. So I'll just decline the request because I want to start over. Then you archive the link and you have a full archive. Once you archive, the upload link is deactivated. If you go to over here, this is where it lands. If any client completes their request, it appears incompleted and you can start all over again. Let's choose that template I created. And there you see, recycled I-130 template. This works wonders, and it takes a lot off of my plate and my team's agenda because I can create document requests infinitely and recycle these. Let's suppose I sent the client a really good template, I can simply use that over and over again without having to recreate the same information. And that AI feature is pretty cool because I can create an unlimited amount of templates. Actually, screen card, I have a divorce client intake, but include birth certificates for 10 children, and I generated that. And as you can see, birth certificate for child 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. So you can specify, let's suppose you have a template of documents that you really like. You can paste that over here. Let me do that just really quickly. You can see what that looks like. Let me look for a checklist that I had used before. This is a checklist for an I-140, which is an immigration petition for employers. I'll paste that over here. Start over with a new template. Now I have that already. As you can see, I pasted all this information from a prior template I have for the I-140, which I had created several years ago, but I update regularly. Let's suppose you need to change that template. And that includes original certified form ETA 989. All this are requirements for an employer sponsored visa. I'll generate those. Wait, it's not where it goes. This goes over here, and I'll generate the checklist with that information I just uploaded. And it'll custom tailor the template, and it'll specify the document type as best as you want. Let's suppose one of these you want to change to PDF only or open up to any file type, or or you didn't like one of those documents being included, you can delete those here and it'll save the template. And that's it. You have a document request already created from scratch. Yeah, I really, really, really like the fact that I can recycle these and create these templates really quickly. And this has definitely helped my practice by streamlining this process. I had tried other softwares or other service applications, but they weren't as intuitive. They weren't as easy to manage for myself and for my team. And I liked them, but the user interface was a bit clunky, and this solved a lot of problems. And the fact that I can create recyclable templates with AI is even more awesome. No client information is shared with the AI, and I checked their privacy policy. I checked Fetcher's user agreement, and they're pretty nitpicky about their security. And you have the option of tightening the security by issuing your own encryption key. So those are all additional services. If you're a little more tech savvy like I am, then you can dig into how they operate this, and this is really solid. They've definitely taken their time, and that's something they consulted me on privacy, on compliance. I sometimes represent clients in matters that require HIPAA compliance, so I made sure that these document requests were taken care of. And I don't like it when clients send documents through email. Email gets lost. Email is unsecure by definition, and the email can be intercepted. Email information is sent back and forth unencrypted, and Fetcher is fully encrypted. So check those out. That's getfetcher.app. I'll be sharing a recording of this webinar with my virtual law newsletter, and I'll be sharing this at the Virtual Law Nexus as well. If you want to visit those websites, that's Virtua, that's VIRTUA.law, LAW. And you can visit our online community that's focused on AI enhanced legal automation. That's virtua.law/nexus. That's a virtual law nexus. And yeah, if you have any questions, feel free to share those through email with the email newsletter, or feel free to share it on the Virtual Law Nexus postings. The Virtual Law newsletter and the Nexus are completely free, and I share a whole breadth of information over there as well. Thank you so much. Again, this is Christian Frank from Virtual Law. Thank you so much for joining in, and I hope to see you at the next one. Yeah, tell me how you use Fetcher. Share if you have any tips and tricks as Fetcher develops new services, features, and automations. I'll share those as soon as they come out. This has been a game changer for my firm. Awesome. It's an awesome tool, and I love using it because it makes everything easy to share with clients, straightforward, and I integrated all of this into my document request. As soon as a client file is created, I shoot out immediately a document request and start building the client's application or the client's case file. Thanks so much for joining in, and I'll see you in the next one. Take care.